Hello guys.
Hello everyone. We don't seem to see anyone.
We don't see anyone, but
live
yeah,
yet.
this is our weekly live.
Welcome to YouBorn Safari page.
Yes, and we're just waiting to see if anyone is tuning in before we can start. Just to give a bit of a
try out the sound.
Yes. Well, I'm going to play a sound which I want you guys to tell me what it is, and so I'm going to play it now. Let's just see if you guys can hear it. I'm not sure if you will, but let's have a go. Right, so comment below.
Somebody has just tuned in.
If you know that tune, that sound, I need to know. Should I play it again? No, it's gone. Well, I'm going to keep it just, you guys have to think about it and let me know. It's pretty easy. I'm sure you guys are going to know. We will play it halfway through. Basically, as we always say, this is very interactive. You need to tell us anything you need to know about. Just, comment on the box below. Anything you want to know about Africa, safaris, traveling, just please comment and we'll try our best to answer them for you. And anything you want us to talk about in the future as well, please comment so that we can work on that and also talk to you about that as well. So today we're going to talk about the 7 tips you need to know before you fly. Some usual things that we can talk about.
Right.
So let's go ahead.
Yeah, so one of the most important things is most people do like sitting next to the window seat so that they can have a good view, but most people don't realize one thing, which is the window seats get much cooler, much colder because of the temperature outside, and it can fall as low as 60 to 65 degrees, minus 60 to minus 65 degrees. So it can get really cold and uncomfortable if you're sitting next to a window seat. It would be, if you still like to sit there, what you can do is, it's advisable to wear carry some warm pullovers or blankets, extra shawls or something that keeps you warm, and you can enjoy the views.
Well, that's very good. Yeah, and it does get pretty cold. I mean, I was on a flight over to South Africa recently, and it was really, really cold. And sometimes even the blankets are not enough. So it's always wise to carry something with you, on board, just in case you do get cold. But obviously, you can also ask the stewardesses to give you some more blankets if you need to. Another good tip would be to avoid drinking tea and coffee on the flights, because generally the water that's prepared sometimes does carry bacteria such as E. coli or Staphylococcus aureus. So I would advise always to ask for bottled water as well as just to drink juices.
I usually do that.
Yes.
I never ever, I can't remember if well, sometimes I did go for coffee.
Yeah.
When it's a night flight and early in the morning you need a bit of a waking up. But I prefer going for water. Water keeps you hydrated throughout.
Especially, yeah. So I just keep bottled water with you all the time. I think it must be Holly, because it's written YouBorn that have signed in. So hi Holly, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so that's a really good tip. Make sure you're always really hydrated on the airline, because the air is quite dry, so you do get really dehydrated over there.
And so. Sorry, it was my line. I didn't realize. So another tip, most important tip, is thank you for the likes and the hearts, Holly.
Holly, before you go into that tip, Holly, this is for you. Tell me what this is. No Google, Holly. Don't cheat.
Right, so the tables, the folding tables, which are in front of you, which you use for your dining on the flight, are the most dirtiest places. So alone more.
After spicy food. No, Ollie, that's a good one though.
Yeah, so the folding tables are very, very dirty. Many people, and especially ladies traveling with babies, do use that for wiping, putting the nappies and the napkins on, or cleaning the babies on those tables. So when you're eating, please don't put any of the food straight directly on the table. And some people have got a habit of lying on the table. You know, many times I've seen people sleeping on the table, and it's quite comfortable in a way, but not a very, very clean way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, it's always wise to carry wet wipes with you just to make sure, you know, things are clean. It doesn't always happen, but, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. Just to make sure your table is clean, just wipe it down. Even the pockets, generally the pockets as well, a lot of rubbish goes in. There's not really that much cleanliness that goes in those pockets either. So just be aware, carry, you know, wet wipes with you just to keep it hygienic. So yeah, and generally I would suggest, you know, in terms of catching the flights as well, if you're a bit of a, how would I put it, if you're a bit of a, not a very good person to go on planes, it's always wise to get the early flights because you've got less turbulence generally. You know, when you fly, you get less turbulence during the day, during the morning hours, and plus you've got more chances of your flight not being cancelled. So it's always wise. Is it a baboon? No, Ollie, I'm going to play that again to you. 1 second. Let's do that again. Let's have a think about that one, Holly. Yeah, so Rita, well done. Absolutely brilliant. Well done, Rita.
Thank you for
tuning in. That was brilliant. Well done. So, Holly, Rita beat you to it this time. But yeah, thank you so much, Rita, for tuning in. That was brilliant. Well done. So, yes, so it's always wise to get an earlier flight to avoid, you know, turbulence and even delays that goes in. Ah, right, okay, so you're an avid Safari Live fan as well. Fantastic, well done. So yeah, nothing can pull a wool over your eyes. So that's great. We'll have to find another sound for you, Rita, that hopefully we'll be able to get something sorted out there. Right, okay, so let's carry on.
So, yeah, one thing, and I think we have experienced this ourselves. Always, if you can, the service is better when you're sitting at the back seats, the final rows, because you see sometimes when the stewardess, the air hostesses don't have to go all the way to the middle of the row to serve someone. If you want something extra middle of the flight, then it's easy for them to get it to you. It's always good, but in terms of sitting as well, we find it much more comfortable sitting at the final rows, because there's nobody behind you and nobody kicking your seat. Plus, you sometimes, depending on the aircraft as well, but sometimes you do get a little bit more of a leg room.
Yeah, it's actually a lot easier for you. So even if you feel more comfortable, you can put your seat back. You don't have to worry about somebody behind you, or if you're disturbing anybody. So we always find generally that sitting at the back is always the best in terms of everything. Really, you've got the washrooms there and everything like that. So it's really, really good that just to have a general bearing of where you are on the aircraft as well. And also another point is if you're having those the neck cushions, blow up neck cushions, don't blow them right to the top, right full, because of the cabin pressures as well. you know, it can burst. So always just keep don't do it right to the top, so that when you're up in the air, it will expand itself, and it's more comfortable that way as well. Otherwise, you start strangling yourself. So that's another point.
It can burst due to the pressure.
The pressure, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think before we move on to our last tip, I have a question for the viewers. What has been your funniest or your most unforgettable travel experience when you were flying somewhere?
Yeah, or even if it's your first time, you've never been on a flight, just comment below. We would love to know. And what would be your ideal place to travel as well? That could be something that we'd love to know. So yes, and just comment below. That would be lovely to see, and also to read. So the final one I would suggest is to get up and walk around a lot when you're on the plane as well, and do some exercises, stretches. Make sure you sort of just tense your muscles back and forth and walk up and down the aisle, because you avoid this clotting, blood clots as well. You avoid the deep vein thrombosis, and it will just keep you active a little bit, because when you're up in the air, the air is really, very thin and it's very dry.
Plus the feet swell up as well. Emergency landing due to a door not closing properly.
Wow, Rita, that was quite a emergency landing due to the door not closing properly, then having to be buzzed back to original airport. What a day. My God, where was that, Rita? Just let us know. It sounds very interesting. And Holly says, I love all flights to anywhere. I'm not much help.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, Holly, at least you love flying. That's the most important thing. So I hope these tips come very useful to you.
I had a funny experience. Massaging around the ankles also helps to
That's
keep
very
the blood
true,
flowing.
Yes. So it's always wise to keep the blood flowing, and drink plenty of water as well. St. John's new Bushwick to Toronto flight. My God, that must have been a terrifying experience for you, Rita. But thank you so much for sharing that. That's have you been on a safari before, Rita? That would be really great to know. I know that you're an avid Safari Live follower like we are, but we would love to know if you have been on a safari before. And Holly, hopefully you'll be joining us on a safari, and in fact we'll be doing a safari next year. We're taking a group with some great friends, and if you would like to join, please do just send us a message down, because we want to have a nice group together. And well, Rita, just drop us a message down, because next May, I believe, we'll be hosting, myself and Bina will be hosting a safari, and it'll be great for you to join us and meet some great people that hopefully will be coming with us. And obviously, this safari will be held in Tanzania, so we'll be really grateful if we'll be very happy if you guys can come down as well. The more the merrier.
And this reminds me of an experience that you had and I had as well.
Yes.
Of the lady frightened next to you. Would you like to share it?
Oh yes, I remember that. We were flying back from South Africa, I believe, and before we landed to the UK, there was a huge thunderstorm that was around the Heathrow Airport area, and suddenly the flight just started. The turbulence was terrible. I mean, the plane got struck by lightning a couple of times, and there was a lady next to me who was a good traveller. I mean, she said she'd travelled all over the world, but she, poor lady, she really was terrified. And as the plane started just bouncing up and down, I could see she was getting very, very nervous. So I had just held her hand. And I said, "Don't worry, we'll be fine." And finally, we were approaching, and because there was so much traffic around the air that we had to keep on just flying around, and lightning kept on striking our plane, and it was really a terrifying experience.
And she had to ask me my permission.
Yes, she asked Bina that, is it possible I can hold your husband's hand? So yes, and Bina gladly said yes, please go ahead. And I managed to sort of talk her in, and we landed safely, thank God. And a few weeks down the line, I received an email from her to say thank you so much, and that was so kind of her. So that was one of our experiences, one of many. But
I recently had one of the a very nice experience. And that was on my way from London to on to Dar es Salaam, but via Nairobi. And I had a group of Indian family sitting all around me. And I, up to now, in any East African or Indians watching this would be able to understand this, because I had heard jokes quite a lot about people carrying food on a flight. And I literally thought that's always been a joke. Not, people don't do that. But I was quite surprised that the lady next to me was carrying this food and this flatbread called thepla, which is quite popular amongst the Gujaratis. And she actually offered me, and I gladly said, yes, can I please have it? And she shared it with me. I think that was the only tastiest thing I had throughout my flight, because the food was the most horrible food I'd found on flight. And this was Kenya Airways, unfortunately. But
thank you, Holly.
Yes,
thank you, Rita and Holly. That was very kind of you.
That was such a nice experience I had, and plus somebody chatting to me throughout the flight didn't let me sleep. But I think it was a pleasant experience. So that was my experience.
Yeah, absolutely, Rita. It's always good to have a tasty snack. And Holly, your connection's going out. Oh no. Yeah. Well, we're going to be going out soon, so don't worry about it.
Thank you, Rita. I do agree with this now. I think I'm going to have to do it quite often every time I travel, because I think the food on the flight, and so many different flights that we have used, this was the worst I've ever tasted. So yeah, it's a wise idea to carry some food.
But it's always also wise, if you have special dietary requirements, to always ask us, and we'll just try and sort of make sure that the airline knows about it as well. So if you're vegetarian, vegan, or whatever, there are options on the flights that you can choose. So don't forget to do that as well. So this is our tips for the day. Have a wonderful weekend, guys, and please do share our video. We're here to serve you guys, and we're here to just broaden everyone's knowledge about Africa and how beautiful the country is, and how passionate we are, to serve you, so that you guys can be out there on a safari. And that is the aim that that's why we do this, to just interact with you and just get that fear of Africa out of everybody, just to make everyone know how beautiful that country is. And how passionate, we love it, and that's why we do what we do. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, Holly, for all your inputs today. And we really, really hope that we'll see you next week. And please do comment below if you need us to talk about anything, and we'll be gladly to do that for you. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful weekend. And take care. Have a great time.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you.